everyone, I am Ronn JANSEN B. Asturias and I will be your host for today's debate. The topic for our debate is, there is or was no best president. For the proposition side, from Humes 11A, the Prime Minister JULIANNA VIDAD with the Deputy Minister JHEZIE PINILI. For the opposition side, they all came from the same school, the opposition leader JAVIER together with the opposition deputy leader JOHNROBE Salvador. Hello guys! Welcome to our segment today, which is debate. Now, before we start, let's have an icebreaker. We will be having 4 picks and 1 word of the presidents. To play this game, there will be 4 pictures shown in the screen and jumble words. The student will take a clue on the picture and guess the president that is being described. Okay? Okay, for number 1, what do you think is the answer? Okay, JAVIER, what is the answer? What do you think is the answer?
I think the answer would probably be Marcos. Yeah, right, Marcos.
Okay, correct. It is President Marcos. How about number 2? JULIANNA VIDAD. What do you think is the answer?
I think it's President Aguinaldo.
Good job! It is President Aguinaldo. Okay, and for the last question, what is your ideal president and why? You first, JULIANNA VIDAD.
For me, my ideal president is someone who is competent, honest, or transparent with his countrymen and accountable. So first is competent. When an aspirant leader or president decided to run for that position, he or she should know in the first place that he will encounter problems that are either passed down from the previous admin or the problems surfaced during his time. So what we need is a competent leader who can do everything for his countrymen, to serve his countrymen. We can't let someone who doesn't even know their jobs be the president. The fate of our country lies on that president's hands. Second, honest or transparent. Would someone even trust a dishonest person? No, of course not. Then we should vote for someone who tells the true state of our nation or country, even though it is in a worse condition or better condition. People will more likely to follow the government if they trust the government on what they do. There should be no room for doubts, and information for us citizens is power. And lastly, accountable. If some things go down and that president is also part of the problem, he or she should be held accountable. There should be no one above the law, even the president. It's a quote that came from the movie General Luna. And how can we even respect or follow that leader if that leader can't even follow the law that he swore to abide and obey?
How about you, JAVIER? Who is your what is your ideal president?
If I were the one to ask, what is my ideal president? I think my ideal president should have a listening, learning, and teaching skills. A leader who both listen and lead us. Why? Because we want leaders to give us a sense not only of who they are, but more importantly, of who we are and what we as a nation may become. I also want a president who has a intellectual reality. Why? Because we want a president we can trust and have a basic respect for others and a commitment to serve the public interest. A sense of decency, integrity, and fair play. Honest, ethical leaders motivate us to a higher level of compassion and justice. And of course, my ideal president should have a courage. His willingness to take risks and try to serve all the people, and not just those who want his or her candidacy. Intellectual courage to do what is right, even if it's not popular at first. And the guts not to give up after being realities. And I think the best president the Philippines never had is Miss Julianna Gonzalez. Why? Because she is the most verifiable, fearless, and intelligent human being I've known in this nation. I've also read her biography and learned that she is a magna cum laude way back in her college days. And she also is a nominee in the International Criminal Court, which because she undoubtedly had so much knowledge about the field. And what I like more about Miss Miriam Defensor Santiago is that she is always straightforward in everything that she is saying, especially in stating her opinion, which is also a good thing because that only means that she is just being pragmatic and sincere with the problems that our country has been facing for so many years. Her frankness also proved that she really knows everything that she is talking about, and if someone tried to contrast her, she always have justifiable reasons to defend her part. She also had already served the three branches in the Philippine government, which are the judicial, executive, and legislative. Her experiences in serving all these three branches is an assurance that she is familiar with the Philippine government and its issues. Lastly, I've never heard that Miss Miriam Defensor Santiago corrupted or did something unlawful in the government. That's all.
You, JASEN PINILI, what is your ideal president and why?
Someone who voluntarily and regularly participate in community service without bringing their entire presence for positive publicity or voluntarily serve in our country's military or makes another selfless contribution to society would be a welcome change. Typically, community service events and candidates' military service record turn into ways for them to gain political ground. Rarely, if ever, do candidates appear genuine or caring when it comes to serving their country and helping average people. Honesty is not only clear truthfulness but also an unscripted approach when it comes to giving speeches and answering questions.
What is your ideal president? A perfect president is built by its people, helping hand in hand and from one side to another will completely show a good relationship that will make a country productive. A person that will stick to his promises after being elected by you may consider also a quality that our future president should have. People choose their president because they do trust the person. Trustworthy from is the most needed characteristic of a president. Trust is the foundation of everything that's successful today. You should trust the chosen president and vice versa. Will definitely come out progressive community worker. Looking ahead to having a country by having a president that possesses all the qualities mentioned. Take years, but surely the time will come and that president will ask from us. I hope that our people will also respond for us to find the true change we all want. They should also have a strong vision for the country's future, an ability to put their own times in their respective history, effective communication skill, they focus on developing others, they encourage strategic thinking, innovation, and action, and that is the characteristic of an ideal president.
Now, without further ado, let's start the debate. Here's the Prime Minister to start off.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the debate in this side of house. We in the proposition side strongly agree with the statement that there is no best president. But before we start, let's define some terms. What do we mean when we say best president? For us, we define it as someone who does job excellently and they have certain characteristics like being smart, honest, competent, accountable, and responsible. Our first point why there is no best president is that their presidency is hard to compare. From President Aguinaldo to President Duterte, they have different forms of government and they have their own ways of presidency. They also face different types of problems during their timeline. Second, there are problems that are passed down to the next admin and still exist up to this day, like major human-caused environmental degradation, high annual population growth rate, loss of agricultural lands, deforestation, soil erosion, air and water pollution. Some of these precedents are part of the problem, so therefore we conclude that there is no best president.
And now, let's head to the opposition side. Here's JAVIER, the leader of the opposition side.
Good day. We on the opposition side disagree that we have no best president. First off, it may be hard to compare their presidency, but it is still possible. We can use their contributions as a criterion. Ronn Magsaysay, for example. His term was considered as the golden years of the country. Citizens trusted the military and the government had the least amount of corruption. We can also consider Manuel Alcázar. During his time, the economy is stable. He focused on agrarian and educational reforms, established the official language, as well as initiating women's suffrage in the Philippines.
We believe that there is no best president. If there is a really best president, we wouldn't be suffering from much poverty and feel secure with our lives. But now the problem is poverty, even get worse. This contribution mentioned earlier are good, but it's their job as a president. Therefore, we concluded that there is no best president, but we agree that we have a better president.
We agree that there is a best president, like the one mentioned earlier. There is someone who excels in their work and the credit is due. How do we even compare the president and rank them? Objectively, we compare their contribution and their impacts to Filipino people, like President Corazon Aquino. She is the first female president and she made the Filipino united to us, the Director Marcos. Subjectively, we may base on their characteristic. President Magsaysay is popular with people. He is known as President of the masses. Objectively, subjectively, we can compare the president. Therefore, we believe that there's a best president among our 16 presidents.
Okay, that was a very informative and very entertaining debate. Kudos to both sides of the house. And now, you might ask, why we do this debate? The presidential election of the Philippines, in the Philippines, is coming near. We hope that we help you be very analytic when it comes to choosing the president. The fate of our country depends on the president you will choose in the election. So I encourage you to all to register to vote, and on the upcoming election, please vote wisely. Thank you everyone. See you.